Yeah, so when you're meeting people socially, Chamber of Commerce functions, receptions, banquets, buffet lines, you're right, Sam. There are these moments where you'll meet somebody and there's this, what did you call it? Did you call it dead air?
I didn't. I said it was like an awkward pause, or where you just kind of someone tends to be like, "Oh, well, see you later," type thing.
Yeah. So I find that it's less stressful if I just take charge. Um, I think of it more as assertive than aggressive. Certainly, I don't. It's not like I'm controlling, but I am taking charge, and there's a difference. Somebody has to be in charge of the quality control of the interchange, right? So, say for example, in a buffet line, um, not, I wouldn't bother them when they're getting their food, but I step in line behind somebody. Typically, they might glance back at me, might not say hello, but I do. And then I say, "Hey, how are you?" And so I know that the person who reaches out first has influence. I learned that a long time ago. I don't need the influence, but I do recognize that the small talk is a dance. You know, and someone always leads the dance. If there's two people dancing, one person is leading the dance, and in a good dance, the other person follows. So when a man dances with a woman, he uses the small of her back and his left hand to turn her, spin her, um, um, and that's kind of what you're doing verbally when you initiate the conversation by saying, "How are you?" Because they didn't ask you how you were. They would give you that curt nod, but you're like instigating conversation. How are you? And I might even say, how are you enjoying the event? Which is even a deeper probe into their condition, right? How are you enjoying the event? Or if they've got a name badge on, I caught a glimpse of the name badge. I say, hi, Rich, their favorite word, right?
Mhm.
Their name. Hi, Rich. Where do you come from today? Or where are you visiting from? Now, sometimes that means that he has to ask me a question. You mean what city did I come from? What company did I come from?
Hmm.
Well, give me both. But at least, now we're interacting. I ask a question, you answer. I ask another question, you answer. I can do this 3 or 4 times before anybody smells a rat. But that's the dance. I'm initiating, and then you're responding to me. Initiating, responding. Now, after 4 or 5 questions, the reasonable thing would be for the other person to reciprocate and show interest in you. But I think the key thing is to first be interested and then be interesting. And that's why I always initiate. I'm a lot of fun working a room, and you'll see that if we ever meet up in a public place. When, by the way, you're scoping out these local chamber functions and stuff, drop me a line if you're going to be going to something, and maybe I'll meet you there. We have to meet up
Yeah.
anyway, and I'll just have you kind of shadow me as I walk through the room. I can meet 50 people in 10 minutes.
Jim
It's
always says that it's
what's
it's
that?
cool to see you go around a big room.
Yeah, I mean, it's an art form. I got it from my dad, and later I got really super good at it when I was in the music business because I was in the band. We came to realize that in the band, all the guys wanted to be us, and all the ladies wanted to meet us, and it gave me like a superpower, like permission to engage with everybody. I would get off the stage and just go sit down at a table of strangers. Why? Because I was in the band.
Hmm.
And even now, when I walk into the room, I haven't been in the music business in 30 years. I still have that I'm in the band mentality. There is no band, it's just me. And you can have that mentality too. And when you have that mentality, you become a walking chamber of commerce. So you're looking after everybody's well-being. You're making those types of inquiries like, um, did you have any trouble finding the place? Stuff that a chamber would ask, right? Uh, are you enjoying yourself? Uh, did you learn anything in that last session? Who's your favorite speaker so far? The stuff that, easy questions to answer, softball questions. But but it's how it gets started. I always tell people too that, when I was single, in the club scene and so on, my guy friends always liked me to go out with them because I was fearless. But I knew that the opening line didn't really matter. You just had to say something because you're not going to get anybody's phone number if you don't talk to anybody. So I realized, okay, so what has to happen? Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to her, and I did eventually come up with some pretty good opening lines. But the point was that if I could just get something going, some kind of traction, then there was a chance to get a phone number and maybe make a new friend. So I'm using all these analogies that maybe help you feel more comfortable about being that person who takes the initiative. Can you see yourself doing that more often at social events?
Oh yeah, I've been trying to a little bit more. Just if I see someone that I've maybe seen or met one other time, kind of going up to them and talking, and then trying to go to someone who I've never met after that. Just kind
That's
of
right.
trying to build myself up to it and get comfortable with it, figure out how I do it and what works for me and what doesn't.
Yeah. Um, Another thing that served me really well is I had to I had to forget something my mom taught me when I was a kid, which was never interrupt. When you're at social functions, you have to interrupt in order to make friends. Everybody's always talking to somebody else. So I would walk up to a group of 2 or 3 people and I would say, I'm sorry for interrupting. I just want to say hi before the program starts while I still have a chance. And they totally understand what I was doing. They're just talking about small talk stuff. Nobody's in a meeting of life or death. No one ever says, get out of here. We're talking about something serious. They welcome most people are like, finally, somebody came along and interrupted us. I've been talking to this guy for 7 minutes. I'm bored. That's how it usually goes. So they're grateful for the interruption. And there are all kinds of tricks for this. If 3 people are huddled together, maybe they're in a crescent shape. I just step into the breach and I say, hi, everybody. My name's Michael. I just want to say hi before the program gets started. And I don't offer them the option. Would you like to? No, I hold out my hand. We're doing this, right? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Um, and invariably, someone will have a question for me about my name or something. There's always a little tangent that somebody wants to go down. So it's awkward there. It's almost impossible. You used the word awkward earlier. It's impossible to avoid all of the awkwardness, but you can minimize it and you can make it purposeful. And I think that's what we're talking about here as an art form.
And
And
how
I
do
often,
you
oh sorry, I often apologize for interrupting. So I don't like I'm not brusque about it. Again, hi, sorry to interrupt, guys. My name's Michael. I just want to say hi quick before we get started. I know we won't have a chance to talk once the meeting gets going. So now I've apologized. I don't wait for you to accept my apology. Hi, Michael, Michael, Michael. Another trick I use is I know we're going to shake hands with my right hand, so my business cards are in my left hand, or
Mhm.
sometimes the cocktail's in my left hand. But watch this, the cocktail's in my left hand, and my business cards are in my shirt breast pocket or they're in my jacket pocket here. If you're wearing a blazer, they can be in your right pocket here. But that's the dance, right? Uh, shake hand, shake hand, shake hand. Hi, I've got a card for everybody. Nice to meet you. You're sipping your drink, right? And it gets even more complicated if you've got a small plate appetizer with you, right? And the trick
Mhm.
for that, by the way, is this is a tall glass, but you would have the glass in the first 2 fingers, and then the small plate goes here, like this. You probably knew this. Did you know?
I didn't know that. No,
Yeah.
I haven't tried that one.
Or
Yeah.
thumb in forefinger, and then between the middle finger and the ring finger, and you're just
Hmm.
holding it on the lip like that. And you could just keep meeting people, give them the card, right? Yeah,
Yeah. I've never done that like with a plate and a drink. I've done it I mean, like you said earlier, women don't really have pockets, so
Well,
done it with
this
like
is
a phone, water bottle, keys, but
this is the game, because if you set up at a high top, you have to wait for people to come to you, and now you're going to meet fewer people. You got to work. You got to get mobile. Another thing I do is I just don't eat. Everybody else is eating and munching. I didn't come here to eat. I came here to get 50 cards or meet 20 people. And then I get going on it, man. And if I end up not getting the bad chicken wings, it doesn't ruin my night,
mhm.
because I came here to meet people. I didn't come here to have appetizers. But that's the psychology, I got to get my cocktail first. I got to get one in me. And I want to spend some time with the food. And that's why most people don't meet anybody at these things. You had something else maybe a minute ago?
Yeah, just like, so when you meet them and start the conversation, how do you segue it to, like, if I wanted to meet this person for a certain reason, or try to see if they wanted to sign up for a golf outing or something like that? How do you do that?
Um, there are old like standby lines that you keep in your back pocket or in the front part of your brain, the neocortex. Uh, for IT people, it's your hard drive, and they're right there, really easily accessible, right? And the lines are something like, sometimes it's a visual cue. I really like your shoes, or what a great color. And I'll see that. I'll see the color across the room. I'm not going to meet them right away, but now it's in my head, right? Meet this guy, meet this guy, meet this guy, go to the bathroom. Then I meet the color and I go, what a great color. I saw that a few minutes ago. That's awesome. So it was there waiting for me, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then there's like these catch-all phrases like I shared a couple with you earlier. There were questions. Are you enjoying yourself? What'd you think of the food? Which speaker is your favorite? Where you come from? What company are you with? Uh, Sometimes I do like a wild card, like what do you do for fun? That's an interesting one, because it's a business function. Everybody's
Hmm.
got business on the brain, and everyone else is interested in your title and whether or not you can become a new customer for them. I don't take that approach. I'm not after your money. I don't want you as an invoice number. What do you do for fun? And you watch people's face and they go, well, that's refreshing. And they start talking about their favorite thing. And how do you think they feel about me when they're talking about their favorite thing? Favorable, right?
Hmm.
So that's another good one. Um, Sometimes I'll say, hey, I want to get your opinion on something. I know a lot of people here, but we've never met, and you're the perfect person to answer this question. And they go, oh, wow, that's unusual too. So I'll ask them something about, what's the ideal slide length for a presentation? How many slides? It's an interesting question. And and people love to be asked their opinion. They never get tired of it. It has to be appropriate. It has to be easy in, easy out, because
Hmm.
you don't want to drill down too much, especially if you're supposed to be pollinating all the other flowers. You don't want to get into like a 10-part deep esoteric conversation, right? Make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah. Gilmore paid me a nice compliment a while back. He said he's never seen anybody develop relationships the way I do. And I don't know if he was just talking about, I don't think he was just talking about these kinds of social gatherings where we're standing up and you're just connecting with people. I think he's talking about a deeper dive, but it's basically the same thing, right? It's getting to know people and um, figure out who they are and then figure out what you can offer them. That's what it's all about, is speeding up the relationship. So it takes 9 days instead of 90. I think that's the ultimate goal. Uh, you're going to really need to do this when you start hiring on your own. You're going to wish you had ESP or superpowers. You could just tell if somebody's the right person. But it's these questions and paying attention and, do they seem to be into the conversation? That question, what do you do for fun, will be a lot more valuable to you in an interview of a prospective employee than tell me about your skill set. Because It's just not as interesting of a question. It's in the resume anyway. What do you need to tell? What do you need them to articulate it for? Get them to tell you something that's not in the resume. That's interesting.